Lots of ducks and waterfowl out on the lake today.
Displaying the glory of God's creation by exploring America one park at a time. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave, the parks professor.
Welcome back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave, the parks professor. We are at Portage Lakes State Park. We are in the southwest corner of the Akron, Ohio metro area, and therefore we are in northeast Ohio. Today is Sunday, October the 12th, and the temperature right now is a sunny and spectacular 65 degrees. There's several trails at this park, but the plan today is to hike the Shoreline Trail. We started at the main beach parking lot, and more accurately, the west corner of the main beach parking lot. The Shoreline Trail is, it appears in two sections, and it's a total of about 5 miles. I'm not sure if we're going to do the entire thing today. We are starting clockwise around the Shoreline Trail. There's a shortcut we can take in the middle if we choose to take it. Not sure about that. We'll make that decision when we get over to the middle. And eventually we will see the lakes, one of the Portage Lakes, for which this park is named. So that's the plan today. A hike along the Shoreline Trail at Portage Lakes. Let's get into it. We're just under an hour in, and now we're to the cutoff that I talked about earlier. So far we've been following the dark blue blazes that you saw on that tree right there. And as I mentioned, this is the cutoff. So this is a little parking area. And the dark blue blazes continue off to the right. And if we wanted to just hike the first half, the eastern half of the Shoreline Trail, that's the way we would go, down there where it says emergency and authorized vehicles only. But I feel like hiking the full Shoreline Trail today. And so we're going to continue straight here. This is actually a separate trail called the Shoreline Spur Trail. And you can see on the tree off to the right there that this trail, this spur trail, is marked with powder blue paint blazes. And so we're going to do the full trail today. Still heading north on the Shoreline Trail. We made it up to the north end of the loop. And this is the park's boat ramp area. This is also an arm of one of the Portage Lakes. This is called Latham Bay. I've seen quite a few ducks and other waterfowl as I've sat here. This is the furthest point in the loop, and so now we're going to start working our way back down to the main parking area. Also, there's a reason this area and these lakes are called the Portage Lakes, and I'll tell you about that when we get to the next lake view. We're coming around the final peninsula into the lake, and we also walked across the beach, by the way, the State Park beach. This is a nice view here out into the lake. This is Turkeyfoot Lake. Lots of ducks and waterfowl out on the lake today. I mentioned I'd tell you a little bit about why this is called Portage Lakes. So back in the old days, back in the 1700s and times previous to that, waterways were the main highways through this part of the country. And this set of lakes formed one of the main portages between the Cuyahoga River to the north and the Tuscarawas River to the south. The Cuyahoga River empties north into Lake Erie. The Tuscarawas River empties south into ultimately the Ohio. And so traders and other people who wanted to get from Lake Erie to the Ohio River, they needed to get their canoes across this high part of land. And paddling your canoe across these lakes was a lot easier than carrying your canoe along the trails. And therefore, this area became known as Portage Lakes. We only have a little ways to go to get back to the parking area where we started, and we'll head into that next. We made the final turn away from the lake, and now we're on the last segment of trail. The first and last segments of this hike tread through a narrow strip of woods with the developed park area to the right and the park boundary close to the left. This is a very nice hike. No real steep areas. There are a lot of trail markers, but you do have to keep an eye on the trail markers because there are also a lot of wild trails, non-trails, and also a lot of other trails out here. So you have to watch for the trail markers and pay attention to the color of the trail markers in order to make sure you stay on the right track. I did that and I had no trouble following the trail. I do want to thank you for watching. Parking full time would not be anything without the people who watch. I realize that every day, and I hardly thank you every day. Also, as a reminder, I do not take any monetary compensation for anything I do for this project. I took a vow to do that many years ago, and I have maintained that vow. And so the only thing that I get for writing these blog entries and doing these videos are your likes, your subscribes, your views, and your comments, and I do appreciate all of those things. That is the parking lot that we started in, directly ahead there. So I'm going to close this video. Until next time, from Portage Lakes State Park in Northeast Ohio, I am Big Dave, the Parks Professor for Parking Full Time. Have a great afternoon, take care, and Lord bless.